Welcome to Africa Peace Dilemma. Can Uganda openly support the M23 militants in the Democratic Republic of Congo? Uganda's position in the ongoing conflict in the DRC is complex, shaped by a mix of political, economic, and military interests. With a shared border of over 700 kilometers, both countries are deeply connected through trade, security, and infrastructural projects. Uganda's strategic involvement in the DRC includes cooperation in regional organizations such as the African Union and the East African Community, as well as military action through joint operations against the Allied Democratic Forces. Despite this, Uganda's relationship with the Democratic Republic of Congo remains multifaceted, including economic ventures in the East African crude oil pipeline and the gold trade, which tie the two nations even closer. This presentation explores Uganda's role in the Democratic Republic of Congo's conflict, balancing its political stability with regional security concerns, and how its involvement with groups like the M23 shapes its regional relationships. The focus of the video is mainly centered on the positive side of the relationship between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, making it difficult for Uganda to openly support the M23 in the DRC. Tune in to understand Uganda's delicate position in the DRC. The two countries are all members of the United Nations, the African Union, International Conference on the Great Lakes region, and the East African Community. For the last one, the Democratic Republic of Congo is the newest member. Let's look at the interests of Uganda in the Democratic Republic of Congo from an economic perspective. The DRC serves as a source of mineral resources and market for various Uganda products. Uganda fought along Rwanda in the 1998-2003 Second Congo War with main interest in timber, coal, and gold. The ICJ judgment of 2022 ordered Uganda to pay the Democratic Republic of Congo an amount of 325 million United States dollars for looting gold, diamond, and timber during the Second Congo War. Whilst Uganda remains the key beneficiary of the DRC timber, the gold matrix is the eye-catching issue in this regard. In 2021, reports indicate that Uganda produced 2.9 tons of gold, but was exporting 30.2 tons of the same mineral. In 2023, gold accounted for 37% of Uganda's export earnings, with a total value of 2.7 billion United States dollars. The DRC serves as a market for Ugandan products, and Uganda enjoys a positive trade balance with its neighbor, exporting goods exceeding 60 million United States dollars beyond its imports from the same country. To serve these interests, Uganda is working on the construction of a road to link Kasindi and Butembo, and another between Goma and Bunagana in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Besides, Uganda is developing the 1,445-kilometer East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP, that will start from oil fields in its Albertine Rift Basin on its western border with the Democratic Republic of Congo to Tanzania's Indian Ocean seaport of Tanga. The pipeline project is valued at 3.5 billion and will also benefit other countries like South Sudan. The DRC and Uganda are exploring ways to enable the Democratic Republic of Congo to join the project. The project is supported by Uganda, Tanzania, Total Energies, and the China National Offshore Oil Corporation. The pipeline will facilitate the transportation of crude oil extracted from the Albertine Carbon area shared by DRC and Uganda. In this regard, including the Democratic Republic of Congo in this deal will make the site's block more attractive for investors. Then let's look at Uganda and the M23. According to the UN 2024 report, Uganda tolerates the M23 rebels with supplies and passage of recruits through the territory. In its end, Uganda views the M23 as a political grouping fighting for recognition and the end to violence and discrimination against the Rwandophone community in northern Kivu, who are predominantly Tutsi. For Uganda, the M23 does not export political threat to Uganda but is useful as an ally to fight the allied democratic forces in eastern DRC. To this end, the official position is that Uganda is not actively participating in the ongoing conflict between the M23 and the government of the DRC, but deploys to fight the ADF, known also as the Islamic State in the Central Africa province since 2019, when it pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. The ADF is based in the DRC but executes attacks beyond the DRC into Uganda, where it maintains its political interests. The contribution of the DRC chaos to the Ugandan political health should not be underrated. Through the access to mineral wealth of the DRC, the Museveni regime has managed to enjoy reasonable political stability in Uganda for close to 40 years now. The last time Uganda had a meaningful resistance was in 2011 through the Walk to Work protests. The relationship between the DRC and Uganda are, therefore, at the center of the political and economic stability in Uganda. Now, let's look at the other bilateral cooperation between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. In July 2018, Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo signed a memorandum of understanding establishing a bilateral framework for enhancing cross-border trade. The parties agreed to develop economic cooperation to contribute to the creation of favorable conditions for sustainable development and diversification of trade in goods and services, promotion of cross-border trade and investment, elimination of non-tariff barriers, cooperation on small and medium enterprise development, cooperation on standards of development, cooperation on immigration issues, cooperation on the customs issues, cooperation on implementation of the Great Lakes Trade Facilitation Project. In the same year, Uganda and the DRC launched the Simplified Trade Regime STR at Mpondwe Kasindi border point. The launch of the COMESA STR at Mpondwe Kasindi followed the signing of a memorandum of understanding to promote trade, harmonize immigration formalities, and ease cross-border trade between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The meeting was held under the auspices of the Great Lakes Trade Facilitation Project, which the two countries are implementing with the funds from the World Bank. In 2019, President Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo led a business delegation to Uganda. The delegation focused on enhancing trade and investment by nationals of those two countries in DRC and Uganda with the support of their respective governments. In addition, Uganda and DRC have a sound military cooperation through the Operation Shuja in eastern DRC. The operation is carried out by the joint forces of the Uganda's People's Defense Forces and the Armed Forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The operation started in 2021 and is concentrated in the Ituri province and South Kivu of DRC. It targets the Allied Democratic Forces, also known as the Islamic State in Central Africa province. Since 2019, the UPDF has an average of 5,000 soldiers in the operation, drawn from its mountain division, the French-trained Mountain Brigade, the 3rd Mountain Battalion, and 83rd Battalion. On the other side, the DRC committed at least one French-trained battalion to the operation. Beyond fighting Islamic terrorism, Uganda also seeks to reduce the number of refugees fleeing insecurity in the eastern DRC, to protect and make safe Ugandan markets in the DRC, to protect and secure the road construction and the crude oil pipeline in the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo. So in 2022, Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo also signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen peace and security at the border between the two countries. The Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs signed a memorandum of understanding with the Armed Forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo to establish a secure and stable environment along Uganda's border points. The MOU seeks to strengthen border control and security between the two countries. In the same year, the Uganda DRC Business Summit was held in Uganda, and the summit focused on resolving barriers to trade and advancing integration. The summit supported the construction of the two major roads in the Congolese northeastern border zone, which are expected to reduce the cost of accessing Kinshasa significantly. Of interest again is the DRC-Uganda Joint Permanent Commission. This is a high-level cooperation between the two countries which have lasted for many years, with the 8th edition of the Commission having been held in Kinshasa in 2023. The Joint Permanent Commission focuses on issues of security, trade, and other related issues of cooperation. In November 2024, the DRC lawmakers were hosted by the Uganda lawmakers. The lawmakers discussed issues of regional security and trade. The purpose of the interaction was to find a way of influencing the legislation of laws in each country by promoting peaceful coexistence and bilateral trade. While Uganda has intense interests in the DRC and has an active military deployment in the country, the level of cooperation between the two countries, especially the present DRC regime, points to a stronger positive relationship, though with a whole host of impediments. The relationship also points to a lesser possibility of an aggressive stance by Uganda in aiding the M23 fighters. On the reason why Uganda tolerates the M23 rebels in the DRC, keep following and don't miss upcoming videos. Thank you.